all the moms in the world, let's chat it up. We're talking competitions, uniforms, and all of the above. It's the Cheer Mom, yes, the Cheer Mom podcast. Cheer Mom, yes, the Cheer Mom podcast. Cheer Moms, your podcast is on.
Moms and basically all women everywhere. Is there anything more deflating than when you put on jeans right after you wash them, or when the stretchy pants that you're wearing roll down on your stomach? There's just nothing that makes me feel bad about myself worse than those two things. Ugh, small changes. I'm going to be drinking my water. I'll be taking my walks. That's what I'm starting with. And then it needs to be, really need to stop drinking. And I have a sugar addiction that you would not believe. You would be appalled. You would think that I'm an elf because elves live on a diet of maple syrup and candy. That's basically what I live on. I'm not proud. I am hitting the road and looking forward to seeing so many of you at cheer events. I will be in Dallas, Atlantic City, Providence, Rhode Island, Las Vegas, and of course in Orlando for all of the big things. Most of the big things. I won't be at all of the big things because I miss my dogs too much to be gone that long. But I will be in Orlando this spring for many of the big things. Looking forward to seeing you all. Stay tuned for more details. I'll be doing photo shoots, slinging jewelry, taking selfies, getting my steps in. So come say hi. Today is a special interview in that I've been wanting to talk to these girls for a while, and we finally got to do it. Chelsea and her daughter Houstyn joined me, and they are the brains and the creativity behind Future Flyer Faceoff. If you haven't seen it, it is so cool. It's young girls who have the opportunity to do elite level college stunts with very accomplished stunt partners. And their videos have gone viral all across Instagram and TikTok. They have made appearances at different events, and now they have their own events and their own competitions where young women are flying in from all over the country and now all over the world to be part of their events, to compete, to learn. And what they're building is so cool. And Houstyn, who is now 10, had the idea when she was 6. She was like, I want to do these stunts. Like, I want to be part of cheer, but I want to be doing like those stunts. And so I get to talk to them a little bit about how their idea formed, how it has grown, what they are excited about in the future, and some of the questions that I've seen people ask or comments that they've made on social media, including, ooh, that seems really dangerous for a young girl, and their responses to the viral comments that people are making that aren't even in cheer, that I didn't even think about and that you may not have thought of either. So I just think it's interesting the way that people look at cheerleading from the outside looking in, and it's like nothing like what people think it is. But anyway, Houstyn, Rose, and her mom, Chelsea, were so gracious, and they're so sweet and quite impressive. So enjoy my conversation with them about Future Flyer Faceoff. Try to say that 10 times fast. I can't even say it once fast. I flub it up every time. F3. Do you want to get that high pony looking slick and clean every time? Well, whether it's competition hair, getting that super clean look for your choreography, or even just that cute, trendy low bun for going out with friends, Slick Hair Company is your answer. Slick Hair Company is the founder of the original Slick Stick, and they also provide high-quality hair care, hair accessories, and styling products that will help you to achieve the perfect style and look. I used their wax stick for that middle part low bun look, and it was awesome. I was even able to curl my hair the next day without washing it, and my hair wasn't all greasy and gross. Founded by a female entrepreneur, Slick Hair uses cruelty-free ingredients that smooths all hair types. They hydrate and strengthen your hair. They promote hair growth and leave your hair feeling fresh,
and not greasy or sticky. Visit slickhaircompany.com/thecheermomblog and use code thecheermomblog for 10% off your entire order. That's slickhaircompany.com/thecheermomblog and use code thecheermomblog for 10% off. Your perfect style awaits with Slick Hair Company.
Welcome, first of all, to both of you. I'm so excited that, especially you, Houstyn, decided to join us. I want to start with Houstyn because this was all your idea, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what made you think of this in the first place?
A future flyer?
Yeah.
It was when I went to go watch one of my coaches compete at Daytona, and they were doing the partner stunt. And I told my mom that I really wanted to do it, but you have to be in college to do that. So I was like, why can't I just make my own competition for younger girls like me that want to go compete, do the partner stunt?
And so you just went to your mom and you're like, how can we make this happen? Okay, so Chelsea, from your perspective, was that a surprise to you? Were you on the same wavelength? How did you respond to that?
I will tell you, it was over a year process because she did bring it to us and we should just create our own. But I have no cheer background, so had no idea where to even start. So that was our first year at Daytona that she's, I really want to do my own comp. And I think she was only 6, maybe 7 at that time. Wow. So super young. And also there weren't a lot of little kids on social media doing that. So I was like, I don't even know if there's a ton of little kids that would even come to a competition. And so we pondered on it for about a year. And then we were actually at Trinity Valley. And we were in Molly's office. And Houstyn brought it up to Molly. And Molly loved it and really was like, we can make this happen. And that's where it all got started.
And since then, you've had a bunch of people rally around you and behind you to really make this happen and make it a big thing in the cheer world.
Yes. I think when kids start partner stunting, it gives that never have flown an opportunity to fly, and they just really fall in love with it. I have not met a child yet who's been to a clinic and left never wanting to come back. We get kids all the time that come and they're terrified, and our coaches will lay down on the ground and get them started that way. But it really develops a passion really quickly within these kids.
Okay, so Houstyn, you had this idea when you were around 6 years old. How old are you now?
I just turned 10 on the 15th.
Okay, happy birthday.
Thank you.
So you started doing this. Did you start with your coach who competed on Trinity Valley? You started
Josh.
stunting.
Oh, I started stunting with Gage. He was on Weber, but now I compete in the Future Flyer Faceoff with Josh.
Okay. So when you first started doing those really college level stunts, was it scary or did it feel really natural to you?
Like, getting a new skill at first is a little bit scary, but once I've done it a few times, then I'm not scared.
And Chelsea, I wonder, was it, and this might be a better question for the coaches, but you've been in it since the beginning. I'm sure you have some kind of idea. Was it a challenge for the stunt partners and coaches to teach the younger girls? Because there's definitely a weight difference, but there's a body awareness and balance difference when you're not fully grown and developed yet. Was that a challenge for them to try to learn to coach the younger girls to stunt like that?
Absolutely. I think there's two sides to that, though. So when they first start teaching the kids how to hold their own body weight, teaching them to lock your legs out, because you'll get kids up there that are trembling. Obviously, it's nerve-wracking being up there. So being able to teach the basics before progressing and making sure the flyer is comfortable in the air and how they feel in the air. But after that, it's funny, I talked to a lot of the coaches that participate in the competition. They love competing advanced and elite level because the flyers know what they're doing. And so it's easier for them to compete with those kids, even though they're throwing the elite level skills. It's just easier to compete with a flyer that knows what they're doing versus the beginners, where they're still trying to teach them how to hold their lines and how to feel comfortable in the air.
Houstyn, I've seen your videos and you make it look so easy to
squeeze and hold your body and hold your lines. I gotta tell you, I got put in a prep one time and I screamed and nearly cried, and it was so scary. But you just make it look like you are light as a feather, and it's just there's no work to it at all, even though I know that there's work. How long did it take you from the time that you started to look like that you do in your videos?
I think it really just depends on which skill. Like, when I first started, like, obviously it wasn't, like, that clean because I was learning. But, like, now I feel like the, like, basics, like, they always look clean now.
Mom, from your perspective, how did she just pick it up really fast?
She did pick it up really quick. Now, obviously, her level of cleanness has improved greatly over the last couple of years. But I think when Houstyn started, it was also new for these coaches to have someone as small as she was. It was almost a competition of, who could throw her in the most elite skill. So some of the things we're doing now is going back to some of the basics and making sure like she really understands how the full ups, making sure she's spinning. And so at that time, it was like, okay, let's see if we can throw her in a shotgun rewind or a hand ski pop over and just see if we can land it. And it was them doing most of the work because she didn't really understand what her role was in it. But now, over the last couple of years since starting Future Flyer, our coaches really understand that we need to teach the flyers from the basics up. So her coach went back because Josh got her after she had already learned a lot of elite level skills. But what he saw in her was, hey, she can do these skills, but I'm having to help more than I should. So taking her back to her basics and teaching her double ups and how to hold your body, spin with your hips, not your shoulders, all the little things that make the flyer a good flyer. So I think the coaches have gotten a lot better about teaching from the basics up instead of a competition on who can do the craziest stunt with this 40-pound child.
40 pounds is like what they lift in the weight room.
Right. And that's one thing, too, that's interesting is they've gotten really good because a lot of it's timing, right? So they have their college elite flyers that are closer to your 80 or 90-pound mark, and then they're going and rotating right down to their future flyers that are closer to the 50-pound mark. So the coaches do an amazing job of being able to adjust and get their timing right with each athlete.
That's bravo to those coaches too, because to be able to adjust and weave in and out of that, I'm sure a lot of them still do partner stunting with adults, and that adjustment's got to be interesting for them. Okay, so you mentioned some of those skills, and a lot of people, I would guess, would see those as incredibly dangerous for an adult, much more a 40 or 50 pound child. Chelsea, have you gotten or heard pushback about younger girls doing these kind of stunts that historically only the adult girls do?
Absolutely. We get more pushback regarding the age difference, but I have had some concern with these kids are out there throwing skills that they could really get hurt in. So as part of our program, any coach that comes that we assign to a flyer, we first have to do a background check on them, but they also go through and they're evaluated by our elite coaches to make sure we know what they're comfortable with throwing and make sure that we only pair them with flyers that we feel that they're able to coach. If we have a base comes in that doesn't have near as much experience, we may only let them do the basic and intermediate skills. The other thing they have to have a spotter. Anytime they're at any of our competitions, warm-ups, clinics, like they are required to have a spotter. Now, we can't necessarily control that when they're at their own home gym and they have their own coach that wasn't part of our program. But when they sign up as a coach through our program, they acknowledge that they will have a spotter at all times when they are practicing and competing.
You mentioned the age difference. That's not really something that I pay attention to or that I think about. It's a good point, but in especially the all-star cheer world, girls are having private lessons with men much older than the bases in Future Flyoff. I'm sorry, Future Flyer. Future Flyoff. That's
No,
not
you're
how you
good.
say it. Future Flyer. I noticed, and this was something that I had never even crossed my mind. In one of your most viral videos, I was looking and I was like, wow, like this is viral. And I know that once it gets outside of kind of the cheer audience that understands what's happening, you get all kinds of different comments and different reactions from people who don't really know what's going on and what's happening. So as somebody who comes from the cheer world, I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And she's squeezing really tight and she's a really good flyer. But I ventured into the comment section to see what does the general public think of this. And I saw a lot of comments that just, again, never even crossed my mind. And that was around race. And not that race is not an important topic and something that we all need to be learning about all of the time. But there was a common thread of, wow, look at how well they get along and how much they trust each other. Is that something that you guys ever thought of or that you get comments about? And how do you respond to that?
We definitely get comments about it, especially with looking at the trends over the last couple of years. So obviously her first coach was white, and the comments would always be extremely supportive. People thought they might be brother, sister, father, daughter. Now the comments did shift a little bit when her coach was with Josh, but I think it's great for the public to see because really it's not about race, obviously. It's about trust. Her and Josh have such a good connection, not only just in the air, but every day. They travel together. It's really a big brother, little sister type relationship. But she's more comfortable with him than anybody. We talk a lot about spotters. Houstyn will not throw a stunt unless she has a spotter, unless it's Josh. She's, Mom, I don't need a spotter. I'm like, you need a spotter. But she trusts him 100% with everything that they do. And she is stunted with some of the world's best stunters, which Josh is included in that category. But even with the other amazing athletes, she doesn't have that level of trust with them. It's only with her coach. Same when it comes to her spotters. Her spotter, they met only about 6 months ago, but that's the only spotter she allows to spot her in competitions. So Will has really, they're a trio for sure. She will try anything with the two of them there because she knows there's no way she's touching that ground.
Houstyn, what do you think has built trust between you and Josh and your spotter? What was the thing, or maybe maybe there's more than one, that made you really trust them?
For Josh, I really like his grips and stuff. Everyone has different grips, but Josh, like, I really like his. And like, we've done like pretty crazy skills with that spotters, and he's never let me touch the ground. There's a video on my Instagram. We did have a spotter for that, but it was a full twisting rewind, and he caught me by my feet, and he didn't let me touch the ground at all. So it's just the crazy skills that he still has caught me on. I feel like that. And then we've also been stunting for a little while now. And then for Will, which why I trust him as my spotter, is probably because when I do my front shotguns, like for my Trinity Valley routine, I kicked Josh in the face and went flying forward, and he still caught me. So.
Wow. Do you feel like they protect you on and off the mat? Like they're like, I got you.
Yeah, it's so funny. Even with like our travels with going overseas with Josh, he'll notice things that I won't even notice. For instance, being in Italy, we were just walking around, but being a blonde-haired girl with makeup and kind of the cheer outfit on, a lot of people were staring at her. He was like, hey, I'm super uncomfortable right now. And I was like, why? He's like, these grown men are staring at her. And it was just, I think they're not used to seeing that. There was a little kid that ran up and asked to take a picture. So just little things like that. Like, he really always, has her safety as a priority, which I can really appreciate, especially because we do tour a lot and we go a lot of places together. So having him there as an extra set of eyes for me is wonderful.
I love that. You can see the love and appreciation that they have for each other, even just watching them stunt together. I just love it. And that trust. Yeah, there's something special and something, I think, a little mysterious about why we connect with the people that we do. You could have the strongest man in the world basing you, but that doesn't always mean that you guys connect on a trust level like that. And so that's a very special bond that I hope you guys keep for a long time.
I think it's really interesting because when Houston met Josh, he was at Trinity Valley. He was a lot smaller than he is now. When he went to Weber, they really bulked him up. Still an amazing athlete, but not the known athlete that you know today. Didn't have all these championships behind him, partner stunt championships, as I should say. So when we started Future Flyer, our intention was for her to compete with Colin, the Rhino. Very well known, first place, everything. And she told me no. She said, no, I want to do this with Josh. They had only known each other for about 2 months, only stunted a few times together, but she knew like that was going to be her coach and her partner when we started this. So I do love it. I love their connection, and I love that she feels so safe with him.
Yeah, you could really tell. That's part of, I think, why there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, but that trust has got to be part of why it looks so easy, because they have that kind of connection. And so I love that.
I absolutely love callbacks, or what they call Easter eggs. Those little if moments in movies and remakes and songs. And the cheer world has so many little things like that are important to us that are just specific to us. Things like hit 0 and 2 minutes and 30 seconds, not to mention the letters that are so important to teams and programs. I don't know a program that doesn't have some version of this. You know what I mean? Like G3FCA2A, OAFAAF, SE4L. You get it, right? That's why I started TCC Jewelry. At tccjewelry.com, we don't just sell jewelry, we create conversation starters, from bracelets to rings and necklaces for all ages and sizes, and even custom designs for teams and programs. TCC has you covered. There's even opportunity for fundraising and kickbacks for gyms. So basically, we want to make you look good and help you get to your nationals events. Whether you're a cheer parent, an athlete, or just a fan of looking amazing, TCC Jewelry is your go-to. Check it out at tccjewelry.com and enter code CheerMomPod for 15% off of your order. Check out tccjewelry.com and enter code CheerMomPod for 15% off your order. That's tccjewelry.com. Enter code CheerMomPod for 15% off your order.
So let's talk about the Future Flyer Faceoff events that you guys have. And they are growing, and I'm seeing and hearing more and more of an interest in what you guys are doing. So talk a little bit about your events and what's involved in participating.
Starting Future Flyer and having so many events are always so much fun, because it's not like sometimes you'll have some comps and then you'll take a break. It's every 2 months you'll have a comp, which is always really fun because it's so much fun to go see all my friends and compete. I love doing that. And the interviews at the end are always so much fun.
And you have a lot of friends that come from all over the country that join you at these events. That's got to be exciting.
Yeah. We have some from even Canada, and
We've had one of our favorite bases actually came over from Brazil. Yes. But to add on to that, I think what makes Future Flyer so much fun for families, and why you see so many of the same kids come, and that's why we're also growing so fast, is we have a lot of returners that try to come to every competition, is because we do more than just the comp, right? When you think of teams, All-Star Cheer, they have their whole team. They get to have all of their parties and celebrations together as a team. This is a lot different. You have your child and their coach. So what we do so the kids can actually get to know each other is we do social events before every competition, where all the parents, the athletes, the coaches come out and we do something. So the last competition, we went to a Dave & Buster's, and because it was right after Christmas, we did a white elephant gift exchange. So just little fun things where everyone can connect. What has amazed me the most is the dads. The dads love this competition because they're just able to hang out together. They can all connect. It's just a little bit different than what all-star comps, just because it's not a full team. It's two individuals.
And it seems like the context is a little bit easier to understand too.
And then and I think for men, it's a little bit more exciting at this age. Obviously, all-star cheer as a whole team, they're not throwing these elite level skills. They don't have these older bases paired with these younger kids on the same team. So for when they're out there watching, they're getting to see some really athletic movements and skills being thrown. So it's really exciting for everybody involved.
So what's in it? We see the allure and the draw for the girls to be able to participate in the activity and in the competitions. What's in it for the bases, for the guys who are coming from all over to participate in Future Flyer Face-Off?
At first, I would say money. At first, I would say that was the big draw initially, because they get paid their private lesson fees. The parents will pay for their travel. And then if multiple kids are using the same base, they split that up. So if you would have asked me 9 months ago, I would have said it comes down to they get paid to do it. But over the last year, it's so funny to pull these guys into a room now that we do these social events, because they are so competitive with one another. They're there to compete just as much as these little girls are. So I have coaches now that they'll have a flyer that can't make it, and they'll call me and say, hey, is there any way you can find me a flyer? I really want to come to this comp. And so they've built really good friendships. And then also just like the bragging rights, like they put a lot of work into it as well. It's not just the flyers. So being able to go out there and show that they can throw these full twisting shotgun rewinds and all those
20
things.
feet in the air.
Right. So I think that's a big thing for them, is they really do enjoy being able to compete as well.
I love that. Let's go back to the money thing because, okay, so they're paid to participate, to stunt the flyers in these events. But one thing that you mentioned to me when we first talked that I thought was really cool is that these guys also offer private lessons in the city where they're competing. So if you're nearby, you can come and do a private lesson with them. Is that right?
Yeah, there's two different things with that. Like I said, a coach might call me and be like, hey, I really want to come to the next comp, but none of my flyers can make it. One thing that we do is we pair athletes with coaches. For example, you might have Susie that wants to compete but doesn't have a coach anywhere near her, but she decides she wants to come out to at Trinity Valley to compete. So she'll come a couple days early and I'll pair her with a coach where they then learn their routine and they learn what level she is, and they're able to put together a routine for the competition. So it's really nice for those athletes that don't have a lot of options for bases in their area. And then we also always host a clinic. So for kids in that area that may not be competing but still want to dip their toe into what we're doing, we offer a clinic for them to come and learn what partner stunting is and see if it's something that really interests them.
That is really cool. Do you guys have any clinics coming up?
Yes, so we do it at every college that we're at. And then we also run the Stunt Star Athletics, where we travel around and we do different clinics all over the country. So we do a big summer tour. And then also every now and then we'll go for a weekend. So we just got back from Missouri this last weekend, where we went into a couple smaller gyms and hosted clinics and taught kids all about partner stunting. So we mainly do it during the summer, but we do some weekends here and there for gyms that are interested in finding out a little bit more about it.
Super cool. So you're traveling around to the gyms and saying, hey, this is also an option for you.
And then
So
the
cool.
other thing we do with Future Flyer is the majority of our competitions are held at universities that have partner stunt programs. So whether it be like Weber State, we're going to Texas Tech next year, Louisville, Trinity Valley, all of those type of schools. And that allows us to utilize their athletes to pair with new flyers. So we only have so many boys that travel with us. But if we go to these schools where we can pair their athletes with flyers, it allows us to take on a lot more of the kids. It's also great because the proceeds go back to the program themselves. And then they also host a clinic. So at their own clinics, they're also able to raise money for their program.
Super smart. I love how that all fits together and the collaborative nature of it all, and everybody benefits and everybody wins as a result. Do you guys do anything around the college national championships, or is that a time for the coaches to really focus on their team? And
That's
you
a
guys
time
just
for the
kinda go and
coaches.
support
Yeah.
them?
Yes, so that's for sure time for the coaches to concentrate on their routines for nationals. But we have a really good relationship with the colleges. So we go and we actually support her coach during nationals. And then Josh is on Team USA. So he immediately leaves and goes to Team USA. But as soon as he gets back, we'll host another competition as well as different clinics. You'll see now in Daytona, there's groups of little girls come to support their coaches, which is so much fun. They obviously have Stump Fest, and the little kids, we go early in the day and participate in that. And then
That's so cool.
It's so fun. And then it's just a bunch of future flyers out there. So all the girls have a great time, and it's fun to watch them run from the beach up to the band shell to see their favorite team perform. Then they'll go swim again, and then they'll run back up because another team is about to go. So we really do enjoy it.
So fun. Now, I want to hear both of your answers to this one. What are you most excited about looking forward into the future for Future Flyer?
So I'm really excited for the Weaver comp because those ones are always so much fun and they're really big because like we have all the Weaver athletes that are able to compete there, and just I feel like everyone wants to go to Weaver because the athletes are amazing.
Yeah, they
And
are.
then I'm also really excited for the next Grands because those are always so much fun. Because even my friends that can't make it to like everyone goes to Grand.
And when is that?
Grands will be over Labor Day weekend, and we do have a special surprise on where Grands will be, so we can't announce it quite yet, but very excited about where Grands will be this year. But yeah, I think for Future Flyer, we're just really excited about its potential. So when we started, we really intended for it to just be little kids, the future flyers, right? The younger generation learning how to fly. Now, what we have found is the colleges look at this as such a great opportunity for recruitment. So it is a lot different than what you would see at an all-star competition. It really gives them a chance to not only evaluate the girl flying, but also the base. So something that we have done recently is we've started bringing in younger faces and pairing them with some of our more experienced flyers. And that is great for recruitment. We had our first recruitment happen at Trinity Valley. We brought in a kid from Chicago, and he competed with one of our more experienced flyers and actually received a scholarship offer. So we're really excited about that potential, and then expanding into our different age groups. So we have moved it up to 18, or up to senior in high school, basically, for them to be able to compete in the different divisions, allowing them the opportunity to be seen by their favorite colleges. We've also added in a tumbling division where we only use dead mat. So they are competing a routine on a dead mat instead of a spring floor, which is what you would see at college as well. And then we're really excited. We're going to be opening up an open division for our older athletes to participate. It gives them another opportunity to showcase their skills. It's not just NCA, not just UCA, but it's a third option for them to be able to compete with their partners and prepare for those two competitions. And we'll be offering those athletes cash prizes.
I love that. And I'm just sitting here thinking, gosh, college cheer is in 5 or 10 years. I can't even imagine how much it's going to grow, and the difficulty of what it's going to be in 5 or 10 years because of people like you, Houstyn, and Future Flyer, and not just the flyers, but the bases and the leadership skills that they're learning along the way because of this. It's really exciting what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Yeah, we are excited for boys, trying to get these boys to be more involved. It's one of those things. I also think it depends on what area of the country you live in. For instance, we've been trying to get some boys out of Idaho that play football. They're like, no, we don't. They don't want to come and do cheer, even though they love to actually practice it in the gym, but actually going out and competing it and feeling they're being seen, they don't want to go and participate in competitions. But showing them like, this is just as athletic, if not more, than what you do on that football field or baseball field. And it opens up more doors. There's not as many boys, so they're for scholarship opportunities. If parents can tell their sons, like, this is a great path to help get your school paid for. And they're just so athletic. And I don't think they realize completely what cheer is. I was guilty of that 3 years ago, but these athletes are phenomenal.
Absolutely. Now, if somebody wants to get involved in Future Flyer, whether it's a competition or attending your clinics, how can they get involved? How can they connect with you guys?
Yeah, so they can go to our website and we have a form on there that they can fill out. They can also go to our Instagram page. We actually have a new crew that checks our messages to keep caught up on that because we have had an overwhelming response. And then we also have our email online where they can email and learn more about the program.
Love it. And Houstyn, if there was something that you would want other girls to know about Future Flyer, what would it be?
Rob, just like have fun with it. And even if you don't hit your routine, it's okay because you did really good. Probably.
I love that. And what a visionary you are. Smart lady. I can't wait to see all the things that you have coming up in your future, because if you're coming up with ideas like this when you're 6 years old, imagine what it's going to be like when you're older. I think that you're going to do great things with your life.
Thank you.
Thank you both. I appreciate you, appreciate what you're doing for the sport, the eyes that you're bringing to cheer, and I think these offshoots of the traditional cheer team and cheer routine are just what we need to keep engagement in the sport, to get more involvement. So I just can't wait to see it grow even more.
Thank you. We're excited because we've actually moved into Canada. So we'll have our first competition there this May.
Excited.
Yes, very fun things to come this year.
What up, party people? This is Jason Larkins, host of the Let's Talk Cheer podcast, and I've teamed up with Kristen Wheeler of the Cheer Mom podcast and Dan Cotton of the Cheer Biz podcast.
That's right. Hey, everybody, Kristen here. We know that you love cheer, so why not dive into more perspectives? Tune into my podcast, the Cheer Mom podcast, for cheer issues spoken from the parent's perspective. Then head over to Dan's podcast, the Cheer Biz podcast, to learn from a gym owner on how to run a successful cheer business. And of course, don't miss the Let's Talk Cheer podcast featuring Jason Larkins, the one that we all know and love, where they talk about cheer from a coach's perspective.
Which means whether you're a coach, a cheer parent, or a gym owner, we've got you covered. Find all 3 podcasts on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and stay tuned for new episodes each week.